Welcome! ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Wednesday, the 17th of January. Good to have you aboard, part of the Believe Podcast Network, and presented as always by our title sponsor, everything ZASLOW Show 2.0. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. You're involved in any kind of an accident, you call 800-747-FREE. 800-747-3733. We wouldn't be where we are right now if not for Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Let them put their skills to work and get you the compensation you deserve. 800-747-FREE. 800-747-3733. NFL playoffs, we're right smack in the middle of it. We got the NBA in full swing, NHL, of course, and Bet Online has you covered with all the up-to-the-second news and odds and scores, with additional odds, lines, trends, and info on both the desktop and mobile versions. You can access the world's best wagering information anytime. Head there today, get into the action, see all the updated odds. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, glad to have you here with us today on a Wednesday, right smack in the middle of the week. Got a fun show planned for everybody. We obviously talked some football yesterday with NFL on Fox's Chris Myers. If you missed that, you can go to the YouTube page. Podcast is where it's at, but, you want to check out the YouTube page so you can see, who we're talking to. YouTube.com/@ZASLOW Show. He was great yesterday. No guest today, but a whole lot going on. We got to do NFL playoffs today. We got to do a little bit of Dolphins. I'm pissed off about something that happened with the Dolphins. We got the Heat in action tonight. We got the Panthers back in action tonight. The Heat are in Toronto. Short little 2-game trip. No Jaime Jaquez Jr. Jimmy Butler, though, he's off the injury report. So we're getting there. Almost to the full roster. So Heat are at Toronto. A Toronto team, by the way, who may be about to trade away Pascal Siakam. We know they traded away OG Anunoby a couple weeks ago. And first there were talks with Siakam go to Sacramento. Now it seems that Siakam to Indiana could be a move. And look, I would advise the Heat fan, you see all these other teams. The teams in the offseason that made moves. Boston, Milwaukee, then in season, New York, maybe Indiana. And you're looking at the Orlando's better. And you're looking at the Heat, you're like, why aren't we doing anything? Well, look, it's not going to be for a lack of trying, but this Heat team knows. They know that by the time they get to the postseason, they could beat anybody. It's the same thing as every other year. Like, the Heat don't need to spend an exorbitant amount of money or change their team in the middle of the season. A team like New York has to make a big move. A team like Indiana has to make a big move. Even teams like Boston and Milwaukee. But the Heat know. They get to the playoffs, they got the guys. Like, they have the dudes who could win a series against anybody because, they've been in the finals 2 of the last 4 years. Like, they know they have what it takes. So if a deal presents itself that is beneficial for them short-term and long-term, that's the key. Short-term and long-term. Then they're going to wind up doing something. But otherwise, they're not going to force anything. They're not going to go out there like these other teams who, I'm not saying New York or Indiana are making desperate moves, but they know what they are. And they know they need to be better. And the Heat fan, you also know what this Heat team is. And you know what they're going to be capable of. And especially, they're 8 games over 500 right now. You know this Heat team is better than they were last year. Much better than they were in the regular season. And look, I don't love that Jimmy Butler misses all these games. He returned the other night. He's probably going to play. He's going to play tonight. He had missed 11 to 12. I hate that he's missing all these games. I think it does take a little bit away from Heat culture. But if it gets Jimmy Butler to the playoffs in a place where he's not going to wear down by the end of the playoffs like he did in the finals, and he really wasn't the same from the second half of the Eastern Conference Finals on, and if it's because he missed so much time in the regular season, sucks right now short-term, but long-term, big picture-wise, we kind of know there's a means to an end, right? Now, luckily, for the Heat fan, it's not this monotonous regular season, right? You got Jaime Jaquez, the development. You got Nikola Jovic, the development. You got the resurgence from Duncan Robinson. And and you got Tyler Hero, who's having a great season. Boy, he was good at the end of the Brooklyn game. Man, he was awesome. So there are things, like this season is different from last season. It's not, all right, let's just wait around until April when shit gets interesting. I don't believe that's the case with this team. So anyway, we'll circle back to the Heat. I want to start with the Dolphins. And by the way, divisional playoffs get going this weekend. We did it last week. Our top 5 under pressure wild card weekend. Well, today we're going to do our top 5 players, or coaches to that matter, under pressure for divisional round playoffs. Okay. All right, everybody settle down. That's coming up. Now, I saw this headline, I think on Monday. I didn't think much of it. And then I saw it yesterday and decided to read about it. So and I saw the headline was from Chris Perkins, South Florida Sun Sentinel, who covers the Dolphins. And Perkins, like the headline was something like Chiefs tackle Chris Jones in Dolphins locker room laughing after the game. And that's like a crazy headline, so I didn't think much of it. But then I read it yesterday, and this pisses me off. So if you haven't seen, it's a good job by Chris Perkins being on top of this. So if you didn't see this, the Dolphins were in the locker room. As you would expect, it's a solemn locker room. It is as disappointing an end to a Dolphins season, maybe ever. The stakes were super high, and they went out with a whimper. And then after the game, Chiefs players, Chris Jones and Hambatali, is that his name? He doesn't play for them anymore. They're in the Dolphins locker room yucking it up with Justin Houston, who's been on this team for 5 minutes. And this story pisses me off. So, Justin Houston apparently is tight with Tamba Hali and Chris Jones. And so, he invites them, or they pop in, whatever it was, to say hello. And if that's not bad, because Justin Houston played for the Chiefs, Justin Houston signed with the Dolphins because they needed bodies. So Justin Houston has no allegiance to the Dolphins. But, he's been with the team for a week. But Justin Houston should have respect for the Dolphins. Should have respect for the team that gave him a paycheck when he was sitting around doing nothing. Should have respect for the guys in that locker room who are crushed with what just took place and their season is over. Justin Houston should have respect for anyone who supports the Dolphins and the Dolphin organization before A, inviting Chiefs players into the locker room, and B, yucking it up and laughing with them in front of other people. And you know what? Yes, good job by Chris Perkins being on top of this story. And he got some quotes, anonymous quotes. Some guys had a major problem with it. Some guys didn't have so much of a problem with it. Like Raekwon Davis didn't have so much of a problem with it. Listen, Raekwon Davis doesn't make the rules. Raekwon Davis doesn't speak for everybody. I'm a Dolphin fan. I'm a supporter of the team. I got a big problem with it. I guarantee you Dolphins brass has a big problem with it. I'm sure Dolphins coaches have a big problem with it. I'm sure former players have a big problem with it. And it's not a coincidence that it was a guy in Justin Houston who just got here. And it was here for a week. You think Justin Houston gives a shit that the team lost? He wasn't doing anything. He got a paycheck out of it. He tried to help the team. It didn't work. He's moving on with his life. But have some respect for the organization. Have some respect for those guys who were out there through 18 weeks and then a playoff game, and now their year was just crushed. And he's standing there and yucking it up with Chris Jones and Tamba Hali. I don't care if one or two Dolphins don't have a problem with it. they don't make the rules. They don't speak for everybody. And there are guys who did have a problem with it. Like I said, excellent job by Chris Perkins covering that. And if you read Chris's story about it, he was blown away. He says he's never seen anything like that. I've never heard of anything like that. Maybe after a regular season game. It's a playoff game. Have some respect for the other guys in that locker room. And you know what? I'm not even mad at Chris Jones and Tom Bahali. The hell do they care? They don't care about the Dolphins. But Justin Houston, have a little bit of respect for the organization that got you off the couch while you were sitting there in your underwear with a bag of cheese puffs and decided to bring in and get you a couple paychecks. It's fucked up. I don't like it. And everyone in that locker room should have a problem with it. And I hope someone on the coaching staff said something to him. That's Bush League. That's Bush League. Now, other things that you aren't happy about if you're a Dolphin fan. And that shit really pissed me off, man. Like I don't know Justin Houston from a hole in the wall. That shit's super low character. Really is. Standing there laughing. If it's not bad enough that those guys play for the other team, or in Tom Bahali's case, played for the other team, and they're in the locker room now, you stand there having a great old time. How about get dressed, say I'll meet you in the hallway, and then we could talk in a more appropriate place. But look, this is a guy in Justin Houston. Didn't give a shit about the Dolphins. Didn't care. And I'm not even saying he should care. He's been here for like 2 weeks, 1 week, whatever it was. But he should have respect. He doesn't have to care about the Dolphins. He should have respect for the Dolphins. And that's low character. That's a low character move. Sorry, I had to take a sip. My vitamin water. Ooh, it's good stuff. Vitamin water is awesome. I wish Vitamin Water were a sponsor. We got great sponsors on the show. I wish Vitamin Water were a sponsor. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about Tua. All right. So as far as what the Dolphins are going to do with Tua moving forward, Tua has shown that he's mentally tough and that he's dedicated. And when I say mentally tough, you see everything that Tua's been through, from the injuries in college to the injuries at the pro level to what happened with Flores to coming back this year and getting better at his craft and adding the muscle and taking the taekwondo. And it worked. Didn't miss a game, didn't miss a start, didn't miss a snap due to injury. Tua has shown he is very high character and very mentally tough and very dedicated. But the Dolphins don't have to pay him more than they're comfortable paying him. Let him come back next year and add another layer to his game. Is that layer he adds to his game that escapability? Now, he's not going to be able to improve upon his elusiveness or how fast he is. That's not what I'm talking about. I do think, and Rex Ryan and Alex Smith spoke about this on NFL Countdown. I played the clip for you guys yesterday. It doesn't make sense for an athlete of Tua's caliber. I'm not saying he's not Lamar Jackson, but it doesn't make sense for an athlete of Tua's caliber to only run for 6 first downs on the year. A quarterback should be able to run for a first down every game. That's 17 right there. That's 3 times as many as he ran for this year. And even in the playoff game when he ran for a first down, he didn't dive, he didn't stick the ball out. And so what should have been a first down ended up being 3rd and inches. And I don't think this is for a lack of athleticism. There may be something mental going on there. And not just with the concussion, with the hip. There may be something mental going on there. Well, he got over the mental hurdle, let's say, with the concussions by doing the taekwondo and coming back very comfortable this year. Is the next layer that he adds to his game being more comfortable running with the football, being elusive, getting out of the pocket and making plays? Is that the layer to his game that he adds coming into next season? Because this year, he proved he can stay healthy. Next year, what else can he do to improve? And he'll use, if the Dolphins don't come to an agreement for a new contract with him, he'll use the contract situation, like he's done many other things so far in his career, as a motivating factor. And he'll continue to prove and improve himself. He's super high character. He's shown you that. But you can't, like, he signed a 5-year deal. I know that's standard for first-round picks. Not a 4-year deal. Does any player want to go into the final year of a contract? Lamar Jackson did. Lamar Jackson did, and he bet on himself. Well, if Lamar Jackson, who had already won an MVP, who had already been to a Super Bowl, and we understand what Lamar Jackson was asking for wasn't realistic because it was the phony baloney Deshaun Watson deal. We understand what Lamar Jackson was asking for and got is more than what Tua is likely going to ask for and get. But if Lamar Jackson and his resume is willing to play on the final year of a deal and bet on himself, Tua's not above that. Tua's not above Lamar Jackson. So it's not completely out of the question that Tua will come into the 5th year of his deal without a contract in play. There's nothing that says you're not allowed to play on the final year of your deal. Because you can't just pay crazy money because a guy's going to be a free agent. Because it's his turn to get the extension, because it's his turn to get paid. Not every contract to a quarterback needs to be more than the last highest paid contract to a quarterback. And Tua certainly, and you know I'm a Tua guy, so I don't like or want it to sound like I'm anti-Tua, but I'm pro-fair. And above all else, I'm pro-Dolphins. I'm always about what's best for the team. I'm always going to be pro-team over pro-player. Always. Why do the Dolphins need to pay him crazy money? He hasn't earned it. Lamar Jackson, they weren't going to pay him because, not because he didn't earn it, but that year that he bet on himself, that final year, they didn't win. He didn't have a great year, and he got hurt. Now, they ended up paying him, but not what he wanted. You're not going to give him the richest contract ever, which would have been crazy giving him more than Deshaun Watson, because like I said, that's a phony baloney contract. That's on Cleveland. But if you're not worth the most money ever, why should a team be paying you the crazy money? And in Tua's case, he hasn't earned the crazy money. I'm not saying don't pay him, by the way. Number one, I don't think there's anything wrong with him coming in for a 5th year and proving it. Let's go. Prove it year. Let's do it. I mean, the Dolphin fans should want that, because what's more of a motivating factor than money? The Dolphin fans should hope that he just comes back and plays out the 5th year betting on himself. And then if he bets on himself and wins, that's a win-win for everybody. You could say, oh, but then the Dolphins are going to pay out the wazoo. Well, they're going to be happy to. If he bet on himself and he won, everyone's going to be happy about that scenario. But why does he deserve to get the huge money when he hasn't earned it? And if they can't come to an agreement, he plays the 5th year of his deal. That's it. Now, I did see there was some reports that I think Joe Shad said, or maybe it was Adam Beasley, and the numbers were there. And apparently, like, it was close to like 40 million or something. And apparently, based on the cap, and that, I know the Dolphins are way over the cap, super fake. All those numbers are so phony. You could fix it so easily. You could bring this number down. You could bring this number down. They're going to get rid of Xavier Howard. He's not going to be on the team anymore. That's going to open up a ton of money. Like, when they say the Dolphins are $40 million over the cap, who cares? It doesn't mean anything. It's fake. It's not real. But they should be offering, the Dolphins should be offering a deal that is team friendly. And if Tua doesn't want to take that deal, that's okay. We play the 5th year. We'll have a conversation again next year. Like, there's no reason. And what's Tua going to do? Not going to play? He's going to sit out? Come on. Tua more than anyone knows the health risks involved. When the Dolphins offer him a fair deal, he's going to take it. But it's got to be team friendly along with making Tua happy. And you know what? Add huge incentives. You make the AFC Championship game, $5 million bonus. You tell me the Dolphins don't want to pay a $5 million. I know it's a crazy number. Tell me the Dolphins wouldn't want to pay a $5 million bonus? Making the AFC title game wouldn't be worth $5 million? Make the Super Bowl another $5 million. Win the Super Bowl another $5 million. Can you imagine that? Winning the Super Bowl, he'd get a $15 million bonus. Everyone wouldn't be happy about that? Like, I'm not saying don't offer him a new contract. Has to be team friendly. And if it's not team friendly, we'll have this conversation again in a year from now. You're under contract. It's not a big deal. You know what is a big deal though? Making sure you get the best sleep of your life. I mean, how many times do I got to tell you guys? The ZASLOW family, we're sleeping on Sheets and Giggles. Sheets and Giggles has been a proud sponsor of ZASLOW Show 2.0 about 9 or 10 months now. So look at me, I'm aging backwards. I'm like Benjamin Buttons. Look how good I look, everybody. It's because I'm getting the best sleep of my life. That's right. SheetsGiggles.com. You get the bed sheets, you get the comforter, you get the pillow. Have you ever slept on a eucalyptus mattress? That's right. The sheets are made from the wood of eucalyptus trees, but my man Colin, the founder and CEO of Sheets and Giggles, he's making sure we're keeping the environment friendly. Everything is environmentally safe. SheetsGiggles.com. Get the best sleep of your life with the coolest, softest, most breathable sheets. My man Giovanni, his wife sent me a message. They just ordered Sheets and Giggles. They can't wait for it to get to their home. And I'm like, you're amazing. I'm so glad you used promo code ZASLOW, because when you use promo code ZASLOW, you get 20% off your first order at checkout. First time you go to SheetsGiggles.com, use promo code ZASLOW, you get 20% off your first order at checkout, and then you're getting the best sleep of your life. You're going to sleep like over 100,000 other Americans who are using Sheets and Giggles. You don't even have to thank me. Just the fact that you listen to ZASLOW Show 2.0 and you support the sponsors who support the show, that's thanks enough. SheetsGiggles.com, SheetsGiggles.com, promo code ZASLOW.